Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Around the League. Today we are talking about another college hockey conference called the CCHA. This is the Central Collegiate Hockey Association, and like I mentioned in our NCHC video, if you are unfamiliar with the history of college hockey, at least in the last 20 years, you may be unfamiliar with the big change that happened in 2013. This conference officially started in 1971, but it's similar to something like the Big East and the American, if you're thinking college basketball, where in 2013, the Big Ten decided they were going to start sponsoring hockey as a sport. And so the old CCHA and what used to be known as the WCHA basically collapsed as conferences because all of the Big Ten schools that made up these hockey conferences moved to the Big Ten. Out of those ashes came the NCHC, which we've talked about in a previous video, but since then, the CCHA has been revived as a new conference containing some of those old WCHA and CCHA members, or at least the lesser members. It's a less successful college hockey conference. It's one of those that typically only get one automatic bid to the national tournament, but we'll talk about all 8 member schools, including 2 which are fairly near and dear to my heart based on kind of some family ties. But we're going to start with the one school down in South Dakota with my mother's alma mater down in Sioux Falls. This, of course, is home to Augustana University. Augustana University, one of 3 major schools in Sioux Falls, none of which are actually D1 as full member conference schools. But straight south of downtown, we are going to find Augustana University. Not just my mother's, but also my grandmother's alma mater. She was from Sioux Falls, and so the Augustana Vikings are a new hockey school that just started a couple years ago and joined the CCHA. A number of these schools you'll recognize as D2 schools. A lot of them are from the Northern Sun Conference normally, and we'll talk about some more of those as we go along, moving into Minnesota. Let's go over to Minnesota and talk about one of those Northern Sun schools up in Bemidji with another one of those schools that is near and dear to my heart. I had a cousin that went and was captain of Bemidji State very recently. So shout out to Kirkland Irie of the Atlanta Gladiators, former captain of Bemidji State, not hard to find in a town as small as Bemidji. But the Bemidji State, Beavers play their hockey there in northern central Minnesota. Zoom out here and go to the other school in Minnesota. It's down in Mankato, another one of those member schools of the Northern Sun Conference. Well south of the Twin Cities is the town of Mankato and Minnesota State University, Mankato. Better known to non-Minnesota people as just Minnesota State, but the purple and gold of the Minnesota State Mavericks located there. I also had a friend who went to Minnesota State. I have a lot of connections to this conference, if that wasn't clear. Zoom out, and let's then go over to Michigan. We zoom in on the state of Michigan, 4 schools in the state of Michigan, 3 of which are in the Upper Peninsula. First one is going to be up way in the north here in Houghton. And Houghton, Michigan is home to Michigan Tech, or Michigan Technological University, located on the eastern side of town there. The Michigan Tech Huskies play hockey in the Upper Peninsula. They share the Upper Peninsula with 2 more schools. First one is going to be over, if we zoom out here, in Marquette. This is home to Northern Michigan University. Of course, Northern Michigan University, the only directional Michigan university that's not normally a D1 school. What I mean by that is Western, Central, and Eastern Michigan are all D1 schools in the MAC conference. Northern is the only one that's not a D1 school normally, but they do play their hockey right there at Marquette Lakeview Arena, right next to Lake Superior. And we zoom out and continue over to Sault Ste. Marie. Sault Ste. Marie, better known as a Canadian town, but it is an international or duo-national, binational town, which has a side in Michigan. And the school in Michigan is probably the most successful historically of all of these Michigan schools in the conference. That is Lake Superior State University. Very big hockey program in the 60s and 70s, but the Lakers of Lake Superior State have not been great in many a year. And we finally go down to the glove of Michigan to Big Rapids. So we zoom in on Big Rapids. I don't know why I just clicked on Colfax. Ferris State University, probably the most forgettable of these schools if you're not familiar with D2 sports, but Ferris State, a D1 hockey program located there in Big Rapids, Michigan, not to be confused with Grand Rapids, Michigan. And last but not least, one more member school. It's down in Ohio, the school known as Bowling Green University. Zoom in to the south of Toledo. And just to the south of Toledo, we are going to find Bowling Green. Bowling Green State University, better just known as Bowling Green, the Bowling Green Falcons. Another member of the MAC. Play their hockey just west of the stadium there. But those are all 8 member schools of the CCHA. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments section below. If there are other single sport conferences that you want us to cover that we haven't before, or other ones you think we should revisit and update as time goes on, please do let me know in the comments section below. Otherwise, we'll hope to see you back on the channel sometime very, very soon.